Last year I already showed you this shattered school that used to be a local landlord. Paretsky was his last name, that was his house. And it's closed for quite a while. People slowly stealing the bricks that were added later to surround the original house. And the only change here is someone, I think that used to be chemistry and physics classes there. Someone started taking it apart, stealing the boards and the roofing for their own project. So no one needs it, so people just come and steal it. Same here, some good people already broken in, took the door out, so we can go and explore and looky. I got symbol of Soviet Union still here. Made of plastic, so that's a newer one. That's part of the old school. And I said people, because everyone's so poor, people stealing everything they can, taking old boards. Well, I got lucky, I found a book by Lenin, and it's called about communist way of raising children, so we're gonna keep it. Sweet. Little treasure hunt. Let's see what else we got here. That old poster. Geometry formulas. Some old pictures, but it's not an original reproduction, so we don't care about that. That's interesting. The corner of professional orientation that show different skills that teach children. So that's pretty cool. I wonder if I can take some of those pictures off. My mom maybe will recognize some of these people. And this is one of the amazing items that I managed to recover in that abandoned school. Now I'm recording from Michigan. So that's the famous photo of Lenin reading the newspaper Pravda, the main newspaper of the Soviet Union. Pravda means truth, which is kind of interesting. Pretty ballsy to call your newspaper Pravda. And this is all handmade. There was probably some kind of project in school. I mean, I can only imagine. I bet you it's probably grandma or mother helped a kid. Like, look, that's a lot of work. So-called cross-stitching, I believe. I already ran it for the wash on a gentle cycle because that was all dirty, dusty. So it looks way better. Nice old fabric. So I'm planning to find a good, like a picture frame and wrap it to have it as a picture, so I think it's pretty neat. Very happy that no one was interested and no one took it. It was just laying there in that abandoned school that somebody already broke in before, and they probably were just interested in anything they can sell. so they can buy alcohol. I also took with me some old photos. I'm planning to scan them and send them to my friends in the village, the farmers. Maybe they can recognize these people. I showed it to my mom. I thought maybe it's as old as her time in school, but she said she doesn't recognize people. She thinks it's probably sometimes in picture was taken maybe in 70s. She didn't recognize these people, but it's all about like a professional education, technical education in school. So they had kids learning how to plant corn, how to do other things that they can use for their future profession. And most of that I found, this is also related to agriculture. Need to clean this picture better. This is not a corn, I think it's beets maybe. So this one needs to be cleaned a little bit. So yeah, it's pretty neat. It'll be awesome if we can figure out names of the people in these pictures. Lenin's book about communist education that I also recovered there, 1959. And this book is in Ukrainian. There were quite a few pictures there, like posters laying on the floor about the beauty of Russian language. I found it kind of funny. They were quoting different poets, like famous poet Alexander Pushkin, about how beautiful Russian language is. So it's like they were teaching Ukrainians about beauty of Russian language. But this book is actually in Ukrainian. I also decided to take this as long. So that's about different professions in Soviet Union. Pretty accurate picture of the dump truck. I remember exactly this shape. It's probably old ZIL. So of course here you can, so you can move to the city and work in construction as an excavator operator. They didn't use real excavators in villages. Sweet picture here. You can work at a collective farm and you can pull the giant sled loaded with hay with a tractor. I thought this photo was amazing. Now this is really interesting. I showed my mom, she smiled because this is how she started her career in Kiev after moving from the village. She worked at the local kindergarten, Детский сад. So here they show the lady providing lunch for kids. It looks like mashed potatoes and cutlets. So this is what my mom did. She worked at the kitchen and also as a cleaning lady in one of the kindergartens in Kiev. And for a while she actually was sleeping at night at the kindergarten, just like any other ladies that came from villages and they had no other places to live. They didn't have propiska. If you watch my channel, you should know what propiska is, the right to live in a specific city or village. So she slept on the floor on a mattress right in the kindergarten when it was empty in the evening. Another awesome photo, not a photo but a picture, bread factory. We didn't have little bakeries. There were all giant bread factories producing basic, like maybe 2 or 3 kinds of bread and cranking tons of those. Good memories of that. Always when you buy fresh, it's still hot bread out of bakery. Of course, it was never sliced. We did a lot of awesome things in Soviet Union. First satellite in space, first man in space. But we never could invent sliced bread. This is actually, by this picture we can determine around what time this art was created, because KAMAZ factory, the truck factory, it was, I believe, sometimes in the 70s, and when they opened that giant factory, I believe it's in Bashkiria, Kamsky автомобильный завод. I was teaching my kid that pretty much every vehicle, every brand of cars or trucks in Soviet Union was always ending with AZ, автомобильный завод, like car or vehicle factory. So that one is Kamaz, Maz, Bilaz, Vaz. All of them end with AZ. So here they show you people working assembly line, assembling Kamaz trucks. And actually Oliver said out of all the Soviet trucks that he saw, Kamaz was his favorite. And mine, of course, is the mighty Ural. That was a real nice surprise to discover that whoever broke in and cleaned up that school, they completely ignored these gas masks. So I took one of them, need definitely to clean it. Oliver is thrilled, maybe he could use it as the Halloween costume. And that's that old-fashioned gas mask with the elephant trunk. And it reminded me of this Soviet joke about Soviet army when little kid was couldn't sleep, so he was bothering his father, who was a Soviet officer, Soviet army officer. That daddy, daddy, I want to see elephants. Daddy, daddy, I want to see elephants. And in the end, the father gave up, said, okay, fine, kiddo. So then he makes all his soldiers to, have a night training, gas attack. And so they all donned this type of elephant trunk gas mask and started running around the building, and the kid excitedly clapping his little hands and yelling, I love elephants, I love elephants. So that's another treasure I recovered in that school. It's pretty neat. So, and I guess we can make the ending for the story. And right after this video, we're gonna park at the old video about the school that I recorded last year. I mentioned in the beginning. So right next after this, we'll start a previous video from last year when I talk about history of that school in the village of Zhoved. Thank you very much. Enjoy the show. Hello, comrades, and welcome back to the Ushanka Show. Greetings from the northern Ukraine. Right now I'm standing in front of an abandoned school in my home village, more precisely my mother's home village in the northern Ukraine. This is the school that she attended. It was closed about 15, maybe 10 years ago, since they don't have enough kids in this village anymore. But my mother attended it in 1950s. She was born in 1948. So she went to this school till the 8th grade, then she had to go to the school in the next village to finish so-called high school. This building has a very interesting story. It used to be private residence of one of the local landlords. His name was Paretsky, Platon Paretsky, who was actually a famous Russian scientist. There's a little placard. So from 1889 till 1907, here lived the famous Russian scientist and professor of mathematics, Paretsky Platon. So he passed away in 1907, right before the Russian Revolution, 1917. So he kind of, you could say, got lucky. His wife, the widow, she barely escaped Russian troops or Soviet troops in 1920s when they started hunting down landlords in Ukraine. They took care of the people, landlords in Russia, and then when Stalin came to power and started pushing forcible collectivization, they came to Ukraine, and there were about 4 or 5 big landlords in this village, and most of them got killed or they left in advance. And his residence got turned into school. So right now it's really interesting. If you see, it's like the old new skin peeling off, and you see the old skin. You see the old building. In 1980s they installed bricks around the building. So there's the original building, which probably a log cabin with the boards over it, and then they installed the brick. But now the brick is collapsing, exposing the original building and the original treatment ornament. So it's pretty neat the way it looks. As I said, it's abandoned for over 10-15 years. Some windows are broken, and broken glass got replaced. It's also interesting if you look. I don't know if you can see, it's reflecting too much, but it's the German language. Oh, right here maybe. I'm looking at a different window. Okay, so right here you could see it's they were studying German language, so that's the boards, study boards from the German class that now used for blocking the windows. It's really sad, really nice building, really nice location. No one needs it. So people just come and steal remaining of the brick. So this wall is slowly disappearing. So this is the main entrance. And it says Jovic Middle School. And I just talked to the lady who rode the bike. She recognized me, so she told me that there's a couple other abandoned buildings here. This one right here, this is used to be a kitchen, so there were just classes. This one is another building. This is was a chemistry lab, so it's set separately right across the field. So of course all this was, you know, was just dirt, but now it's all overgrown with grass. So here they had a initial school. So first the third grade kids studied in this building, so that would be like elementary school was right here, and a half of this building was library, small warehouses in the back, and also they had their own water well right there somewhere. Of course it's also abandoned. So interesting. I just asked my mom. She said that you know, the Poretsky passed away in 1907. He got buried up here at a cemetery, but his wife got lucky. She got somebody told her like, you need to leave before tomorrow the Soviets come and they are confiscating everything and they're killing most of the landlords. So she just grabbed whatever valuable possessions she had, hopped in a cab, horse cab, and she left. I couldn't find where did she go, if she survived, but she just abandoned everything and left behind. Some other big landlords, we had about 5 landlords in this village. Several of them got killed, their buildings got burned, but as I said, Platon Poretsky got lucky because he died right before revolution and all that collectivization and other things started happening. I'll put the link below this video with from his biography on Wikipedia. It's quite interesting, and you might ask, like, how in the world did he end up in this middle of nowhere village? He married the widow. So this lady, his wife, she was a widow and she lived here, so he somehow met her and came from Russia, settled here and lived for a long time. According to my mom, apparently he was a very good landlord. He wasn't rich because he spent a lot of money around here. There's a small old bridge that he built. Local peasants didn't have a bridge, they had to walk through the river, wander through the river by foot, so he built the bridge out of his pocket. And also he was generous, helping people who were in need. So he was a very nice landlord, so people had no bad feelings about him. But of course, when Soviets came, they didn't care, because any rich people were bad people. So as I said, my mom spent 8 years studying this school, and with every year it was less and less kids going to the school. At some point it just came, it's a pretty big building, as you see. There was no more reason to have a school because only a couple of kids attend. So now they have some kind of school bus service. And we don't have a lot of kids around here. I mean, the whole village has about 180 people. So they bus the kids to the other village, which still have school, and there's no school in our village. So this is kind of interesting. I thought you might enjoy this video. Really complicated history in this region, and now it's all, as I said, our village slowly dying out. There's a lot of abandoned homes around here. You can't hear anymore. This is probably a busy place. There was a lot of kids laughing, running around, and now it's just eerie quietness and nothing else going on. No blacktop, no concrete driveway, it's all dirt roads, dirt paths. This is northern Ukraine. Well, thank you very much for watching my channel. As always, don't forget to put likes under my videos and share with your friends. We'll talk to you later. Goodbye. And if you love my channel and would like to show your support, please click on the link below this video and become the patron of the Ushanka Show. For as little as $1, you can help us grow and create the new, interesting videos about the life in Soviet Union.